English Boost podcast from Speak English Journey.
Welcome back, English learners, to Speak English Journey. I'm James, your co-host for today's super exciting episode.
And I'm Rose, just as thrilled to be here with all of you. We're so glad you could join us again for another chance to really boost your English skills.
Sorry, absolutely, Rose. We've got a truly dynamic and incredibly relevant topic lined up for you today, something that's not just for folks working in sales, but for anyone looking to understand the ins and outs of business communication and persuasive language.
That's right. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of sales meetings and the strategies that really drive them.
Exactly. We'll be breaking down everything from the crucial steps of prepping for a sales meeting to understanding the psychology behind different sales strategies, and of course, the art of effectively closing a deal. So get ready to soak up some valuable insights and significantly expand your business English vocabulary.
So, James, when we talk about a sales meeting, what's the very first, most fundamental aspect that springs to your mind? What's the bedrock of a successful sales encounter?
For me, it all starts with preparation. A sales meeting is far from a casual chat. It's a highly structured discussion with a very clear, singular objective: to successfully sell a product or service. Therefore, having an intimate knowledge of your product or service, knowing it inside and out, is absolutely crucial. You need to be able to answer any question, address any concern, and highlight every benefit.
Absolutely. And it's not just about knowing your own product, is it? It's equally, if not more, vital to deeply understand your client. This means understanding their specific needs, identifying their pain points, those problems or challenges they're currently facing, and then, crucially, articulating how your product or service can directly solve those problems for them. It's about meticulously tailoring your pitch to their unique situation.
Tailoring your pitch. That's an excellent phrase for our listeners to grasp. It means adapting or customizing your sales presentation, your entire approach, to perfectly fit the specific needs, challenges, and even the personality of each individual customer or client. You simply wouldn't use the same exact approach or set of arguments for a small, agile startup as you would for a large, established, multinational corporation. Each requires a distinct, nuanced approach.
Precisely. And this tailoring process relies heavily on research. Before any significant sales meeting, I always dedicate time to finding out as much as I possibly can about the company I'm visiting and, equally important, the individual or individuals I'll be meeting with. Professional networking platforms like LinkedIn are incredibly powerful tools for this. Knowing their role, their company's recent news, or even their interests can give you a significant edge.
That's a really solid point, Rose. Knowing who you're talking to on a deeper level helps you significantly in your ability to build rapport. For our listeners, building rapport means establishing a harmonious, friendly, and trusting relationship with someone. People are inherently more likely to listen to, engage with, and ultimately buy from someone they like, and more importantly, someone they trust. Trust is the foundation of any long-term business relationship.
Definitely. And a huge component of building that essential rapport is active listening. It's not just about you talking at the client, delivering a monologue about your product's features. It's fundamentally about listening intently to their concerns, their questions, and their priorities. It involves asking insightful, open-ended questions to truly understand their underlying motivations and what they're genuinely looking for.
Open-ended questions are absolutely critical for effective sales, and indeed any meaningful conversation. These are questions that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. For instance, instead of asking, "Do you like this product?" which gives you very little information, you'd ask something like, "What are your initial thoughts on this product, and how do you envision it fitting into your current operations?"
That encourages them to elaborate, to share their perspectives, and to provide you with valuable insights you might not have otherwise uncovered. Moving on to sales strategies, James, once you've done your preparation and built that initial rapport, what are some of the most common and effective approaches we see successful salespeople using in the business world today?
Well, one classic and highly respected strategy is the consultative selling approach. In this model, the salesperson acts far more like an advisor or even a trusted consultant, rather than just an order taker. They focus intensely on thoroughly understanding the customer's problems, challenges, and aspirations, and then they recommend solutions. Crucially, they might even suggest a solution that isn't their own product if they genuinely believe it's the best fit for the client. It's about being a true partner.
I'm a huge advocate for consultative selling. It's a strategy that genuinely builds strong, long-term relationships because you're perceived as a trusted expert and a valuable resource, not just someone trying to push a product to meet a quota. It's fundamentally about providing genuine value and demonstrating that you prioritize the client's success.
Exactly. It's a win-win. Another very common and effective strategy is solution selling. This is very similar to consultative selling, but it specifically homes in on presenting your product or service as the direct, tangible solution to a customer's specific identified problem. You clearly articulate the pain the client is experiencing, and then you offer your product as the undeniable cure.
Right. So, if you're speaking with a company that's struggling with, let's say, incredibly inefficient data management and losing valuable time and resources because of it, you would specifically present your software as the perfect streamlined solution to automate their processes, reduce errors, and save them countless hours. You're addressing a very clear existing need with a direct answer.
And then there's value-based selling, which is particularly powerful in today's competitive landscape. This strategy doesn't just focus on the features or even the immediate problem-solving aspect. Instead, it heavily emphasizes the long-term benefits, the significant return on investment, ROI, and the overall value that your product or service offers over time. It shifts the entire conversation away from the upfront cost and towards the sustained gains the client will realize.
So, instead of simply stating, our advanced analytics software costs $500 per month, you would frame it as, while our advanced analytics software is an investment, it's designed to save your company an estimated $2,000 a month in previously lost revenue and inefficiencies, leading to a significant return on investment within just 6 months. You're quantifying the benefit.
Perfect example, Rose. It profoundly shifts the focus from price, which can often be a sticking point, to the tangible profit and long-term benefits. Now, moving to a critical stage in any sales interaction, handling objections. That's an inevitable and often challenging part of sales meetings, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Objections are not only inevitable, but, in my view, they're often a good sign. They show that the client is engaged, thinking, and has specific concerns they need addressed.
The key is to view them not as outright rejections, but as valuable opportunities to further understand the client's underlying concerns. My personal strategy for handling objections is a 3-step process: acknowledge, understand, and then overcome.
Acknowledge, understand, and overcome. That sounds like a solid framework. Could you give us a practical example of how that might play out in a real sales conversation?
Sure. Let's say a client expresses a common objection like, your price seems too high compared to your competitors. First, I'd acknowledge their concern. I completely understand that budget is a significant consideration for any business, and price is naturally a key factor in your decision-making. Then I'd try to understand the depth or specifics of their concern. Could you tell me what your typical budget range is for a solution like this? Or perhaps what specific aspects of the price concern you most? And then, armed with that understanding, I'd move to overcome the objection, perhaps by explaining the unique value, the superior features, the long-term savings, or by offering different tiered packages that might better align with their budget.
That's a brilliant and empathetic way to approach it. It immediately shows the client that you're listening and that you respect their concerns, which then opens the door for you to address the actual root cause of their objection. And finally, the moment every salesperson aims for, closing the sale. Any go-to tips for our listeners when it comes to sealing the deal? For closing, I find that the assumptive close can be incredibly effective when the timing is right. This is where you, as the salesperson, confidently assume that the sale is going to happen, and you move directly to logistics. For example, instead of asking, "Are you ready to buy?" you might say, "So, what's a good delivery date for you to receive the first shipment?" Or, "Which payment option works best for your accounting department, annual or quarterly?"
That definitely takes a certain level of confidence and timing. It guides the client naturally towards the next step. Another closing technique I find very powerful is the summary close. This is where you quickly and concisely recap all the key benefits you've discussed, reminding the client how your product or service specifically meets their needs and solves their problems. And then you directly ask for their business.
Yes, that vivid recap serves to reinforce all the value they're gaining. It's about making the final decision as clear and as easy as possible for them, by showing them a clear path forward and reiterating why your solution is the best choice.
Wow, Rose. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today on the intricate world of sales meetings and effective sales strategies. Before we move to our closing segment, we have a very special informative feature for you.
That's right. Our dedicated vocabulary expert, Mr. Lexicon, will be joining us shortly to meticulously break down some of the most key and often complex terms we've used today. He'll make sure you not only understand, but can confidently use all the professional language related to sales in your own English conversations. So make sure you stick around for that invaluable segment.
And we're back after that incredibly insightful vocabulary breakdown with Mr. Lexicon. Hope you're feeling more confident and ready to put those new terms into practice.
We've had a truly comprehensive discussion today. We started by emphasizing the paramount importance of preparation for any sales meeting, including thoroughly researching your client and mastering the skill of tailoring your pitch to their specific needs.
Absolutely. We also explored essential soft skills like building rapport and the power of active listening, especially by asking effective, open-ended questions to genuinely understand your client's perspective.
And then, we delved deep into various impactful sales strategies, breaking down the nuances of consultative selling, solution selling, and the financially focused value-based selling.
We also tackled the crucial skill of handling objections effectively, guiding you through the acknowledge, understand, and overcome approach. And of course, we discussed various ways to confidently close the sale, including the direct assumptive close and the compelling summary close.
So many practical concepts and invaluable vocabulary for your English language learning journey. Remember, as with any skill, practice makes perfect. Try to incorporate these terms into your own conversations, whether you're discussing business or even just thinking about how you might persuade someone in a different context.
That's absolutely spot-on advice, Rose. We sincerely hope this detailed exploration into sales meetings and strategies has been incredibly helpful and has added significant value to your professional English toolkit.
We always love having you with us on Speak English Journey. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in and for your dedication to learning.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep speaking English with confidence and clarity.
Goodbye, everyone.